Hey, John LaRoy, Apparel Redefined. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you, Kurt?
Hey, doing absolutely phenomenal. You and I love talking about branded apparel. We talk about that brand promise. And at Apparel Redefined, you have a whole slew of contract services. Now, for our buyers out there, I don't know, do you ever, as an entrepreneur, do you ever struggle with that decision fatigue? I certainly do. Do you ever have decision fatigue?
I do when I'm talking about things or doing things for the business. You know, decision paralysis sometimes.
Yep.
But when it comes to something I know I want, it's instantaneous. Like
You know
outside, outside, yeah,
I know how you are sometimes with my, I have, grind all day and get done. And my wife hits me up with a, hey, such, you want to go, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I'm at full capacity. Let me digest this for a second. So
yeah,
anyway, I want to dive into, that decision fatigue. And I think you're hitting it right on the head. When you're certain about something, when you're convicted, man, it's just like you make that decision. Now,
yeah,
if you're new to something and you're like, man, I don't want, let's take our buyers out there. And they just don't want to make, especially a new buyer for branded apparel, they don't want to make that mistake. Okay. What I want to do is I want to run through on how, like, you guys do, you're just a fierce educator. You do a great job of guiding your customers into making those right decisions to help them with that decision fatigue. Let's talk about some of the contract services that you guys offer at Apparel Redefined, and how do you help people make those like nice, easy, convicted decisions where they make the right choice?
sure, absolutely.
Let's dive into, all right, so you have a service called NOMOS, right?
hmm
That's a little unique. So for folks that term might be new, what is NOMOS and how does that help entrepreneurs?
So I was told that nomos is Greek for teamwork.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's true or not, but it
I'll,
sounded
I'll
pretty
ask
close. Yeah.
ChatGPT,
I
okay?
mean, shit, yeah, in the Google world, I should know that, but
That's right.
you just put me on the spot there. But yeah, so Nomos is the product of being in our industry for 19 years now, and about 10, 12 years in, I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this. Um, and long story short, you could talk about all the stuff that's written on the back of a bar napkin, but it literally was. I actually still have the napkins and the papers in my office. One day, hope to frame it. But I had a talk with my former partner, and it was like, hey, what's next? Because we were kind of just a very small local print shop for people in our community, and that was, a part of the vision, but not nearly the vision I had had. And how do we take it to the next level? How do we scale? Because at that time, it's very paper intensive. It still somewhat is, but to get to that next level, we needed not fear technology, because a lot of people in our industry were and still are scared of technology and advancement, but how do we leverage it? How do we make it work with us, for us, and make us better? So we started developing. I'm not a software engineer, but had the idea, partner with a couple of really good software engineers to come up with this technology that it sounds archaic, but in our industry, like there was no way to submit an order, place an order, track an order, know that your order is done, and have everything kind of live. Because we've talked about this in several other shows, Kurt. Like I don't say no. And when people would come in on Wednesday and be like, hey, I need an order for Friday, sure. And like, if in a pizza shop, like that'd be like, hey, the kitchen closed 3 hours ago and you're still accepting orders for pizza. And you go to the back of the house, not only is nobody there, but now I got to do it. Right. So we were just always in this capacity of saying yes, 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 without knowing how many orders were already in the house and what can we commit to, what's our capacity. So we wanted a way to not only cleanly present data, but communicate it not only to the customer, but to our internal team. Because there's a lot of people that touch every order. And how do you make it clean, visual, and all that type of stuff? So it's still in development. We've been developing it and improving it. And it's a nice thing that it's ours. So when we have 120 clients using the software right now, probably close to 500 users when you consider internally as well. Everyone's got an opinion. Some of them are great, some of them are not. But we have the ability to say, "Hey, that is a good feature. Let's put it in and build it." So yeah, essentially, it's a manufacturing execution system. Long word for an order placement tool, but it's more than that because it enhances our entire manufacturing process from inbound intake of inventory to invoicing to billing to production tracking metrics. We know exactly how many Prince Steve did today, how many stitches Allison did, how many boxes Rick counted. So all of that, into one essentially mini ERP system that enhances it. Now, why does that help the client, right? Well, if you are a contract services client and you are, an ad specialty guy, or you're a sporting goods shop, or you're just, out there trying to print, doing a little bit in your garage and also selling, you got a really good community. This is a tool that enables you to kind of sell more, stress less, as I said. Like, it's really hard to do two things really well, right? And then three things, So are you selling really well, or are you printing really well? We decorate very well, right? We let you be the salesperson. And this is a tool that allows us to have that synergy with you where, hey, you have the community, you have the relationships. Because as you know, people don't buy products, they buy people, right? You buy from people that you know and you trust. And this enables you, if you have, wherever you are across the United States, like, this is also kind of like enabling that gig economy. You never would have gotten a stranger's car 10 years ago. Now we do it all the time, right? Well, now you can have that side hustle. You can continue to build your business and have the production come to us at the experts, and we can white glove service it. It looks like it's coming from Kurt's t-shirt shop, right? So we've built that tool really twofold, really to enable that person, that company, that entrepreneur, that solopreneur to be able to have, the capacity of a big shop. But we've also made it so that we could become a big shop because you need tech to support that. And it just trickles down, right? It's better for that type of client. It's better for the retail client because they have visibility into the entire process so that they know, hey, their shirts will be delivered on time for their big event. So yeah, there's ways that it benefits that we didn't even envision, and we continue to build it and develop it out.
Well, I love that. And teamwork makes the dream work, right? Is that what they say? So I love the name. It's just such a powerful tool. And again, for digging into that entrepreneur, understanding their challenges or frustrations, for them to scale, it's just wonderful to have, a partner like Apparel Redefined where you come in, you're the muscle behind the scenes, and like just let them do what they do best, let them sell. And I couldn't love that more. I mean, you know what? Like you said, this might be another episode that we need to dive a little deeper. Now, you have a lot of other wonderful, powerful solutions on the menu, right on the website for folks to choose from. And that was back to like that decision fatigue that I was mentioning before. As you walk through, folks, we've got things like Laser Deck, Fast Flex. So, let's talk about Laser Deck. What is Laser Deck, and how do you help folks with that?
So laser deck is our word for laser engraving. Laser engraving, it's a great way to personalize or enhance, you know, geez, thousands of products. Most of the products that we do, the most popular type stuff are like tumblers, Yeti style mugs, where, any Yeti that you see anywhere to Ace Hardware at, your local soccer field, it's a laser engrave. It's, a black mug or blue, whatever color it is, with, laser etching that essentially burns away that color coating. So it's really good for corporate promotional gifts. Even, some of our customers that are corporations, they use that to purchase gifts to go after more clients, more business, promotional type items. You can get pen and stress ball exhaustion walking through a trade show. But if you get a product, especially a high end quality product, what does that say? I mean, you're not going to give it away to everyone that walks by your booth, but if you're willing to give away, a $50 Yeti mug that's personalized, people are going to use that, and they're driving to work and they got their coffee, they got this. Like, you want to be able to give impactful items, especially in a promotional type setting, that people are using, because if you can get use out of it, and you get traction, you get some momentum, the momentum turns into sale. Maybe not for that person, but maybe they talk to someone or they see someone that has that. It's like, hey, that's really nice. Where'd you get that? What do they do? Well, I don't know. Go hit them up. A t-shirt, a really nice t-shirt is probably the best, most economical way to give stuff away. But yeah, so back to the laser deck, laser engraving, typical, like we say, mugs, tumblers. Wood is really popular, like the custom charcuterie boards. I mean, spell that, Kurt. I mean, I could barely say it, but yeah. Leatherette, we laser engrave leatherette. We actually also use the laser to cut. We cut twill because one of our services is twill work. Yeah, there's a lot of acrylic glass. You can laser etch like wine bottles, again, corporate gifting. Yeah, it's very versatile, and it's nice because it can be, you could do one or you could do 10,000. It's not as rigid in terms of quantity as screen printing is.
Well, again, great point. And, whether it's a personal situation like a celebration, an event, an occurrence, that type of thing, or like you mentioned, it could be a corporate event. So, again, lots of things to decide. And that's a wonderful thing about partnering with your team. You can help me with that decision fatigue and give those that guidance, that professional expertise on what's the right product for the right fit for the right occasion. Let's keep going down the list here. You mentioned being flexible. Let's go into Fast Flex. What is Fast Flex at Apparel Redefined?
So FastFlex is a digital print on a heat transfer material. Um, this formulation, so this was kind of a predecessor of what's hot in the industry, known as DTF, which is direct to film. Geez. So yeah, so direct to film DTF. What makes FastFlex different is the actual backing or vinyl. FastFlex more now than ever before is pretty much exclusive for waterproof materials. So if you think about swimsuits, bathing suits, collegiate, high school swim team, where they got their school logo on there, FastFlex is pretty much exclusively used for waterproof. But now if you switch over to the corporate setting, you got your Columbia jackets, you got your Patagonias, all that water repellent type of work. I'm sorry, hiking gear, that type of stuff. There's a coating on there that actually that repels the water. Well, what else it does is repel decoration. So it's a specialized vinyl that allows you to adhere to that type of material.
All right. Let's keep cranking down the list. And again, we've got everything listed right on the website. Let's go to Digifuse. What are we talking about with Digifuse?
So yeah, Digifuse is our creative spin on DTF, direct to film. So direct to film is very similar to FastFlex, but it's pretty new technology in the industry. We're talking under 2 to 3 years. Some big improvements. It's again a digital print on a poly based film that's heat pressed to a garment. So you have a ton of flexibility here. In the screen print world, if you came in, you said, "Hey, I got a design. It's more than 5 colors, and we only need like 4 or 5 pieces." It's not going to happen where it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. So the advantage here is you could do as few as one piece. You do as many as 5,000, and the pricing is will stay pretty much the same. So you know what you're getting, and it's very friendly to all different fabric types, right? Um, the other service we offer, DTG or DigiPrints, as we call it, you're pretty much tied to mostly heavy cotton rich garments, where DTF Digifuse you can use across a whole different array of garments, types of garments, bags, and because it's going on an actual heat press, and you don't have to mount it on a machine with a platen. I don't want to get too technical here. You could put it pretty much anywhere. So it's a really good, cost effective, high quality way to add a logo to apparel products, what have you.
And did I catch that correct? You said that it's not a dramatic cost, whether it's a small quantity compared to a large quantity?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and so from my naive mind, it's always been like, well, volume, that manufacturing to do a couple. What can you just walk us through, like, what's the benefit, or how is it able to be such a stable cost across the board?
Because the process essentially is the same, whether it's one piece or 10,000, right? So the economies of scale that you would expect in a manufacturing setting that, once you get to a certain quantity amount, why that is that way in manufacturing is the setup, right? You talk about in tool and die manufacturing, the most of the cost is in the setup. Same thing in screen printing. Most of the time and labor is in the setup. And once the job is set up, you don't want to stop or take it down. But since this is a digital process, and like as the machine is feeding the film, it could print all different logos at the same time. So if you only need one, you cut it out and you press it down. But that action of actually pressing it to the shirt, it's the same repetitive process that would happen if it's one piece or 10,000. So the economies of scale are not there from like a pressing standpoint, which benefits the lower quantity orders. But yeah, it is a little bit of a hindrance on the higher volume orders. But if you have that option, again, as our contract decoration partner for you, if you're talking even 5, 6 colors, 7, 8, 10 colors, and you have a 10,000 piece order, we're not going to DTF that. That's going to be screen printed, where you could take advantage of the cost savings of screen printing then.
Incredible. That's super valuable right there, especially for the folks that are, small runs, small quantities, small events, that time they need the freedom, flexibility. And again, for, a lot of consumers out there probably, are not aware of that. You know what? We're going to wind down. We've got a lot more that we're going to cover. We're going to we'll cover it in another video. Anything that you want to wrap up with is this was phenomenal. What a great education piece, just even for myself. Anything that you want to close out with, John?
No, I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation. There's a lot that we do, and I could probably talk for an hour on each surface. So hopefully it's interesting. But yeah, I look forward to picking this back up and going through the rest of what we offer.
Yeah, fantastic. So, John, thank you. Apparel Redefined. There'll be all sorts of information down below, and stop by the website. And again, go through the contract services and just a lot of valuable information here. So, we will catch you guys. We have some exciting programs come up in the next few weeks, and we will see you soon. John, thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Kurt.